everybody? It's your boy Mac Mall back with another reaction. Make sure y'all smash the sub, and remember, it don't cost you nothing to push your button. Yo, we back, man. Today, man, I got another one from Andrew Tate, man. Hey, he dropping some gems, man. If y'all don't know who Andrew Tate is, man, y'all got to tune in, man. This dude, man, he real smart, man. He real crisp. I like him, man. I like his views on life. He's a very successful businessman. He was a kickboxing champion, man. He's very interesting, man, and he has some very, very interesting views on life. And in this video, he's gonna talk about accountability when it comes to women and men, and it's very interesting, man. So we're gonna get right into it, man.
Yes, I'm innocent. Yes, it was a setup, but it's my fault.
Do you think that applies to women as well? They need to take the responsibility for whatever happens to them.
Well, I don't want to get in trouble, but
because with that logic, with that logic, and I see the point, because I believe everything's my fault as well.
Yeah.
But with that logic, then if a woman is wearing a short skirt and a bra and walks on the street,
talk about it. Let's talk about it.
And then she gets whistled at, she gets, God forbid, raped or hit on or whatever, is that her fault?
Yes. Now, in true misogynistic style, I'm going to have to say that women, by and large, and obviously exceptions do disprove the rule, struggle with personal accountability more than men, by and large. And I'm not saying all women. I'm just saying.
But I mean, there's an exception to all rules, right? But we're talking here generally speaking.
Yeah. And the reason for that is because when you blame yourself for things, you become competitive, and the world for a man is actually more competitive than the world for a woman. And women, to a degree, not all women, but some women manage to get by not being particularly competitive. They're just pretty, or they know enough people, and they just go through life not really blaming themselves for anything because they don't have to optimize in any way. But if you want to optimize yourself, you always have to take fault for everything all of the time. I said something before about that the BBC still use against me to this day. I said that exactly what you said. I said if a woman goes out and she meets a man she doesn't know, and she's wearing a short skirt, and she gets drunk with that man, and then she sniffs cocaine with that man, and then she kisses that man in the bar, and then she goes back to that man's hotel room, and then cries rape, I blame the woman. And they said, in the BBC, Andrew Tate says women are responsible for rape, because they twist everything. And what I'm trying to say is that we need to have personal accountability in all things, because the world's not a perfect place, right? Am I saying she should be raped if she ends up in that hotel room? No. What I am saying is that the world's not a perfect place and people do bad things, and her, as an adult, should have enough personal responsibility to not put herself in a position where it's easy to allow bad things to happen to her.
Right.
Just as I, as a man, don't allow myself to be in a position where bad things can happen to me. I won't go to Kandahar right now and get shot with an AK, because I know that there's people there who might kill me. We all have to have personal responsibility, but the world is now skewed, and we live in this very unfair dichotomy of this double standard which is applied to men in this matriarchal matrix system where women are girl bosses and better than us at everything and beat us up on Netflix shows, while at the same time anything that happens to them wasn't their fault, a man made them do it. And we have these two things sandwiched together, and as a man you're stuck in the middle. Imagine you're a 17-year-old boy, you're going to school, you're watching Netflix, you're watching TV, you're watching these things. They're telling you women are better than you at everything. They're trying to make you into a girl. They're trying to make you talk like a girl, think like a girl, be a girl. You turn on Netflix, the mom is smart, the dad is dumb. There's a little woman beating up 55 men on every single TV show. Your masculinity is permanently under attack. But then you get a girlfriend, and you're with her for a few months, then you break up, and then she cheated on you, but that's your fault because you could emotionally manipulate her. You were a narcissist. So everything she does is your fault, but you have no authority, but you have all the responsibility, but you're also her inferior while capable of making her do things she doesn't want to do. Like, it doesn't...
Man, that's facts, man. It's like, you can't win today. Like, the masculine man is controlling, is too dominant, and too this and too that, but they don't like soft men. It's like, you can't win. It's like, when you come from my era, and you in this era trying to date, it's horrible, bro.
Doesn't even make sense.
I think this double standard as well of how they're raising women and men these days to believe that women are taking the place of men and there are no men and you should emasculate yourself a little bit so that there is equality, right? But then when men and women are dating and they're in relationships, all of a sudden a woman is going back to her instinct, and she's like, but why aren't you leading, and why aren't you providing, and why aren't you, leading the household? And you're like, okay, but I thought that's not, like, did you not want this? I mean, I'm so confused because mainstream media is saying that it's offensive now to tell a woman that I've got you, right?
Exactly right. And that's why the birth rate's collapsing. That's why marriage is collapsing. That's why everything's over. I recently watched this. I witnessed this recently. We're talking about how, and we can actually talk about this from a biological perspective, because we talk about how women don't want to take accountability for things. But one of the reasons they get away with that is because men, by and large, as a society, allow women to get away with these things.
Yeah.
Because we are programmed to protect women. Because if you have 100 men and 100 women, and a war comes, the reason the men go fight, because supposedly the patriarchy was so evil and mean. If you listen to a feminist, history is patriarchal. The patriarchy is disgusting. Turns out it was men who were dying in a ditch, getting shot, while you sat at home with the kids. But no, we were supposedly bad. Why do we send the men to go fight? Because if it was truly a patriarchy, we could sit around and say, I'll send my women against your women. Baby mama battle. I'll send my chicks, you send your chicks, they can fight. I'm going to sit here. I'm a king. I don't have to go fight and die. Why? Because if you have 100 men, 100 women, and 95 men die, well, those 5 men can still impregnate the 100 women. Your tribe will survive. If 95 women die with 100 men, your tribe's over because you can't reproduce fast enough. So men have been programmed evolutionarily across thousands of years to protect women by and large.
Facts.
And you see this all the time. And that has been hijacked now to the point where women, when they don't want to take responsibility for their own actions, have men jump up and jump around them to defend them. This happens all the time. A porn star will come out after doing 500 porn scenes and say, I was fooled and tricked. My mom was a drug addict and it was unfortunate, and then this manager met me and he seduced me, and now I'm suing him because I didn't want to. That's what she's going to say. And whether that's true or not, you could debate. But what's interesting is thousands of men will start going, yeah, poor girl, instantly defending her. They don't even know if what she said is true. She could have come from a white picket fence Christian household. She just made it up.
With Me Too movement, women don't lie.
Defend all women. Women don't lie. And I saw this very recently with Lily Phillips. I see Lily Phillips going on these podcasts, and you have all these conservatives, these Republicans, these masculine men, trying to convince her that, what's happening to her is wrong, and she needs to look at her childhood and work out why she did it, etc. To me, personally, I just think she's a whore. And whores have always existed. And she can go be a whore, and it's her decision, and that's what she's doing, and I don't feel any instinct to protect her. Now, maybe I'm the broken one, but I see a bunch of dudes trying to stick up and protect her. She's making her own decisions. You want to talk about personal accountability? There it is. Let her do it. Let her suffer the consequences. Who cares?
But that's how it's always been. I mean, at least how I was growing up. If we're teenagers, I mean, I'm born 86, I'm 38 now, and as teenagers, and you're making bad decisions over and over again, 18, 19, 20, at some point, no decent boy wants to date you.
100%.
And it's your personal accountability, and that's as a teenager. Now that we know better, we say, okay, but that's a teenager's mind. Maybe she doesn't know. But when you're a fully grown woman and you're choosing your choices, why are people trying to protect how she feels about the choices she's making as opposed to making her hold herself accountable for those?
I don't.
But I think we have our own powers in our own way. I mean, I think there's a lot of, I know how to hold my household together. I know how to take care of my husband. I know how to get shit done in my house.
100%.
I do all of those things very comfortably, better than my husband, but because I'm a woman, and I will take pride in that.
Yep.
But I don't want to step into his terrain of the things that he's good at as a man and try to take custody of that as well.
Well, then you've nailed it. This is exactly right. We're very separate. We have different power structures, different capabilities. Women can do some things better than men. Men can do some things better than women. The problem with Western society as a whole is that those jobs have been inversed. So I'm not saying I want all women to think and act like men. Women are just as powerful as men. We just have very different, distinct roles. You can't argue that a boat is more important than a plane. It depends. Well, you don't want a plane on the ocean, and you don't want a boat in the sky. So we do very different things.
But I think a lot of women are comfortable with all of that, in my position, when they have their shit together. This is my opinion. Because I have purpose, because I have drive, because I want to grow and build things in this world, and I'm very comfortable to be very soft in my feminine energy. I'm always cooking for my husband. I don't even let him order without coming to me first because I want to take care of him. I want him to be, happy when he's with the boys playing cards. I'm always serving everybody. I love doing that, gladly. And the boys are always...
Now you hear that? You hear how she talking? We don't know too many black women in our culture, and I hate to do this, man, because I love black women. I'm not one of those men that have vendetta against black women because of how they act. But all I'm just saying is I'm gonna call a spade a spade. Most of our black women don't think like this, and they don't talk like this. You don't know. If you come from where I come from and you trying to pick out of the litter of women, how many women do you actually know that speak how she speak or talk the way she talk? Different cultures, and this is why, we have this thing where they say black men make it and they run to other races. This is the reason why, because this woman provides a peaceful home without all that rah-rah shit. Don't no man want to come home and do all that, take care of the bills, make sure you straight and gotta hear you talk to him like a man. Don't nobody want to hear that shit, man. And this is why men dating outside their race, because these type of women, they were raised in a total different way. Real shit.
I was like, oh my God, Tracy's always like all over her husband. I love it.
Yeah.
And I think it's because I've worked on myself a lot and I know my purpose in life. Now, it doesn't say that women that choose not to do what I'm doing and just want to stay at home cannot feel the same way.
Yeah.
But I feel a lot of the people that have this modern feminist mentality are speaking from a place of insecurity because they're lost. They don't have control over their lives. They don't have control over their finances. They haven't met a guy that could help them out or have a leader in the family, and they don't know how to take care of themselves when they're single.
Yeah.
So they go for the easy way to make cash, the ways that are probably not, the OnlyFans, for example. Most feminists that are screaming at the top of their lungs are making money in the West on OnlyFans, and they call that feminism. They call that freedom and an empowerment.
Well, I understand it. And the world is a very difficult place for young men, and it's a very confusing place for young women. For young men, it's difficult because when I was 16, 17, Dubai didn't exist, but I didn't know where Monaco was. I didn't see Instagram reels of Monaco. I'd never seen a Lamborghini in my life. The women I was talking to in school had never seen one either. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're an 18, 19-year-old kid today, the girl in your college who you like who's 18, 19, she has millionaires blowing up her phone, trying to fly her all around the world. Right. You're just a Joe average brokey. So it's very difficult to be a young man. I don't think it's confusing. Young men know what they need. They need power and status and influence and money, and they're being constantly exposed to this whole world that they want to get access to that I was fortunate enough to not see. But that's why it's difficult to be a young man. To be a young woman, I wouldn't say it's difficult. I'd actually say it's easy but confusing, because they have all these options now. They're 18, 19, 20, 21, whatever. They can be born in the middle of nowhere. They can be in Transnistria, a breakaway micronation. It doesn't matter. If they're hot and they have Instagram, they're getting invites. Mm-hmm. So as long as they can go cry at the passport office, they now get access to the highest tier of life that exists on the planet. If you're a man and you want to get on a boat, you have to work. If you're a woman, you have to buy a boat. If you're a woman and want to get on a boat, you need an Instagram picture. So life can be easy for women materially at the cost of their soul, and it's very, very confusing for a woman. Because what do you do as an 18 or 19-year-old girl? Society used to have an easy laid out path for people. A woman would meet a man, they'd fall in love to some degree, they would have children, they would be married, she would become a mother. By the time she's 22, 23, that was what women did. And then for whatever reason, feminism came along and women decided that the patriarchy is terrible and they didn't want to listen to their husbands and they wanted to be set free to make their own decisions, for better or for worse. We gave it to them, and now they've been set free. So what do 18 and 19 and 20 and 21-year-olds do now? They run around talking to dudes on Instagram, trying to get Birkin bags and Instagram likes. And they can only do that by hyper-promoting their sexuality, as you just described, so they can get as much attention as possible, because the laws of power, 48 laws of power, as you described, you have to try and garner attention, whether it's negative or positive. I'm one of the most Googled men in the world, and I said Lily Phillips' name. Why? Because that's the bottom line of it. It's true. So women are just using their sexuality now to try and get as much attention as possible. They're being thrown out into a dating market with the most desirable men on the planet. They end up having to share a man who can get any girl he wants because they only want a man of a certain status, and all women want him. So there's 1,000 women per one man. They're running from dude to dude, relationship to relationship, getting their heart broken over and over and over again, until they eventually realize they have to settle down to some degree. Then they end up upset that they can't settle down with the kind of guy they were with 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. They get into some resentful relationship to eventually have children or offspring or whatever it is. Like, everything is completely broken now. And it's broken because women said, we didn't want to listen to men anymore. We don't want to the patriarchy. We don't want to have to obey our husbands. What's interesting as a thought experiment, and I don't know, women will have to answer this, but if I were to analyze it logically, I would say, every time I see a woman complaining that men aren't loyal, let's say, for example, I say, you did this. Men were loyal when they had to be. A man met a woman, you were in high school, we had to get married to have kids because society expected us to get married to you, so we had to, and we had to take care of you. You're complaining that you need help. We had to give you a house. We had to work. We had to raise the kids. We had to be loyal to you. We had to be home every day. We had to take you to church on Sundays. We had to. Then you said you don't like listening to us because we expected you to cook dinner. You didn't want to cook dinner and you want liberation. So now what are you doing? Now you're running around chasing men who have all of the options on the planet. And you're wondering why he's not loyal to you. Well, you want him to sit down with only you. How many beautiful women in the world are blowing up his phone? He's the guy with the yacht. There's lots of space on the boat.
You know how I see it, though? So,
and women don't understand it. Like, women come with all this baggage and this bad attitudes and don't want to do shit, and then you want the man that 1,000 women who are in better position than you want him to just settle down with you. And you don't have nothing unique, nothing special, nothing. You can't give him nothing better than any other woman he already got. But like, women, y'all standards is insane.
Oh, tell me what you think about this. You get married. I know you're not married, but let's say you do get married, and I don't know the type of woman that you would marry, but assuming she's the kind of woman that is intelligent, she works, she has her own ambitions, but she's obviously available to take care of you and the house and everything, right? Do you ever feel, firstly, that you can be, does a woman inspire you ever? Does your wife help push you? Again, it's subjective and it's different because you're in a place where you've already made it, right? But assume you're in this situation for other men out there. Isn't normal for you that your woman inspires you to be better, that you would always bounce ideas off of her, build with her, grow with her? Or do you not believe that that's the woman's job in your life?
I think a woman would inspire me to be better so that I could provide for her and protect for her better. I think that me personally, I get all of my happiness via proxy. So my woman inspires me to be better because I can make her happier. And I'm only happy if she is happy. I'm only happy if my children are happy. I'm only happy if everyone around me is happy. I don't get happy by myself. I exist via proxy happiness. So I think to a degree she would inspire me. Yes, that's true. And I'm not saying that people don't get married anymore. I'm not saying any of these things. What I'm saying is that women in their years where they would have had a very clear purpose, where they're at the height of their reproductive years, for example, they're at the height of their hormones, their clear purpose would be love my husband, have children. And now they don't have that. They just have social media, distractions, endless offers, money, gold digging, OnlyFans, dating left, right, and center, Taylor Swift, bullshit on the news, all of these hormones inside of them. They're told they're a boss, but they also don't want to work, but they also should work, but they also should have all this money just because they exist. And then they know this other girl who has all this money because she's dating 6 or 7 different men, and they're just running around sleeping with everybody. And my question is that better for society than a woman meeting a man, falling in love, and getting married?
Definitely not.
Everything's a mess.
But it also doesn't work for...
All right, man, we're going to cut it off right there, man. Make sure y'all tune in, man, to Andrew Tate, man. He be steady dropping bombs, man. And make sure y'all hit the sub, man, comment, and like this video, man. Help your boy get to 20K, man. Remember, it don't cost you nothing to push your button. Till next time.